You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show.
Hey there, Ray Donovan fans! What's going on? Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show. We're talking about Season 2, Episode 6. What happened to our music? There it is. Yeah, there it is. Welcome back. The episode is called Viagra. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me, as always, fantastic and talented Kennelia Stradwick's here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anna Koppel is here.
Hey.
Isaac Johnson, unfortunately, can't be here with us tonight. We miss him, and thank you to you guys for holding it down. In my absence, I was gone for 2 weeks, and I missed everybody. I missed all the listeners. I missed all of you. I missed this show, and I'm glad that we're back talking about it. Yeah. So a great episode. We're halfway through the season, and now that Kate McPherson is maybe temporarily out of the picture, I mean, I assume temporarily. We don't know. We don't know that for a fact. We're kind of like moving along with some of other storylines. We kind of haven't really seen Terry and Bunchy in a bit. We got to check in with them and send at least one of them careening into Ray's life. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but I want to talk about Ray right off the top. He's been trying to get evidence, something on Cochran. This guy is so career focused. He's so driven. He's so kind of weird. There's got to be something on him. And last week we kind of saw, okay, there's some suspicion that he's sleeping with his Asac's wife. Well, we get a clear definition of what's going on right off the bat in this episode as we just open on Hank Azaria having sex with the Asac's wife, and he is just miserable. This guy, Volchek, he's just looking on just like pained as hell. And yeah, so Cochran and his wife are a kinky duo. They're well, I mean, I feel like anyone who's as like type A focused has got to have something kinky in the closet. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Well, I think beyond being kinky in terms of swinging, to use sex over this guy, like, yeah, I'm gonna promote you, whatever, but
it means I can bang your wife whenever I want.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kinkier. I feel like that is just shows a sort of level of depravity of this man, and makes him frightening.
Yeah, but it's just unfair because everybody's having a great time except I forget his name. What's his name? Volchek. He has to sleep with the lunch lady. Like his wife looks like the lunch lady.
But she's not an ugly woman.
She's not, but her hair, like, you know, her, like, it's her hairstyle, I think.
Right.
It was like the bouffant, and then she had the lace nightie on.
She's very like elder Jackie O, like Jackie O post Kennedy assassination.
It's very Donna Reed.
She also acts like a mom.
Yeah.
Even during, she's like, well, I want to fuck you too, sweetie.
Yeah. She's like so eerily Stepford-esque. But bizarre. Yeah, he's definitely not into it. Here's another thing though, because she's very like woman behind the man kind of a deal. It might have even been her idea. If we're talking about depravity, she might have been like, that up-and-coming agent is delicious. I want a piece of that. And look, he's got a hot wife for you to bang.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Interesting point.
Yeah.
Interesting point, Matt, because remember when Cochran was on the treadmill and he was just like losing his mind? She's like, that's enough, sweetie. That's enough cursing. And he was like, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She's got a firm hand on the throttle here in terms of this relationship. She sees what he is capable of, and she's so proud of her husband. And I feel like every one of their scenes has been kind of establishing this relationship where, yes, this guy is a little weird and a little kind of like type A crazy, but she is kind of very subtly Lady Macbething this thing, I think.
And when she's not happy, he's not happy.
Oh, 100%. And she is very insulted. She doesn't let it on in the moment, you know, as he's just kind of like sitting there, just like with just a thundercloud over his head. But instead, she goes over and she just enjoys that her husband is getting off. And then once they're gone, I guess, tells them in private, like, never again, and you are just going to destroy this guy because I'm very insulted. He would not have sex with me. How dare he? I am gorgeous. Yes.
Is that what you said?
I imagine it was. I mean, I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
It's from the deleted scenes. So, you know, Volchek, he swims laps to de-stress in his spare time down at the gym or the YMCA or whatever. And Lena kind of comes on to him as a tactic. She gets him into a sauna alone. They start making out, and she's like, just hold the phone. I'm gonna go to the ladies' room. I'm gonna be right back. Don't you dare go anywhere. And he just kind of like puts his head back like, whoa, man, something's about to go down. I'm the luckiest guy. You know what? My life was crappy until today, and now it's going to get so much better. And then Ray comes into this steam room in a full suit, and is basically like, look, pal, all right? I know what's going on. No, you can't leave, locking him in with this push broom. And you really only have one play, and it's to screw him before he screws you. You know, you definitely don't like this, do you? So he agrees to have Avi wire up his house with cameras.
Okay, before we get too far into this, I just want to rewind to a couple of things here.
Sure.
First of all, just if you're ever in a sauna and a man gets in a full suit, you should leave immediately before he says anything. That is a crazy person or some sort of trouble.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't wait for him to speak. That's just...
And sits down with no towel on his butt. Like, you know, it's one thing to have, you know, there was nothing between his bottom and the sauna bench.
Well, there were pants.
Yeah, but
that's a nice suit.
People's like booty.
Okay.
I'm just very icky about the sauna.
It's still a sweaty booty.
I hear you.
Sweaty booty. And,
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The other thing is, I'm a little bit unclear on because when they're swimming laps, he's like, oh, it's Lena, right? So do they have a prior relationship or did they just meet that day? Or
she had probably been working him for at least a few days. I mean, they've been on this Cochrane thing now for a few weeks, so I imagine they've been examining all the angles. Yeah, either that or just like this is just a small gym where everyone knows each other, I guess.
Because otherwise, it's not a coincidence they're at the same gym there. Yeah. But he goes in for that kiss pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was relaxed. Like he was relaxed with it. It wasn't like, oh, should I kiss you? It seemed like you said, the first option, maybe she was working him for a while, and that's what it seemed like.
Well, I feel like also... She came on to him. I mean, granted, nowhere near as strong as that waitress came on to Ray at that restaurant. Like, that was just embarrassing. Like, I am embarrassed for that woman. But she was very clear, I feel like, yeah, I'm done for the day, too. Hey, so I was thinking about going for a steam. You want to come with me? I mean, that's not like a question when you ask it that way versus like, yeah, I'm gonna go in the sauna. Do you want to just come and hang out? Let's chat. Let's get to know each other. Versus like, I'm going to go to the sauna. Do you want to come? Great. We're going to sit here in silence while this other woman is there. I feel like, I mean, granted, yeah, he went for it a bit quick. He didn't even check in. But I feel like he knew what was up. Or at least she convinced him of it.
Yeah, he knew it was going down.
Yeah. And also, he comes from a swinger relationship.
But not everybody does.
This is Los Angeles. Everybody does.
Just to be clear, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Me either. I don't want.
Yeah.
No.
Don't put that out there, Lieberman.
Okay. Misinformation. So Avi goes and wires up Volchek's house, and he gives Lena a little show. I love like every little bit that we learn about these two, and learning that Avi is a former stripper one summer in a lot. I love that about him. Everything that we learn about our favorite Israeli lackey, for the lack of a better term.
Well, can I point something out?
Yeah.
Ever since Cochrane made Ray feel a certain way about Avi, he's been a little testy towards him, or a little different. Like even when he was talking about wiring the house, Avi was like, "Boss, you know, like you really want to do this?" I thought it was over, and he was snapped at him. I was like, "Just do it, Avi." It seems like ever since that happened, where Cochran called Avi out and was like, "Oh, he sits at home with his mom, and you have this guy doing this type of work for you." Things have been a little different.
Yeah, it bothers me when Ray is that direct to Avi. I noticed that too. It's not the first time. And I'm wondering how far he can push that relationship before it backfires. Yeah, and Avi and Lena are the people that you don't alienate because they know where all the bodies are buried. Especially Avi, who had to bury a particular body, namely Sully's girlfriend. And that's there's no way that doesn't come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah, if season 1 taught us anything, it's that everything comes back. There's no hiding from any of this stuff. Ann Bitterman is very deliberate in how she sets this stuff up, I think. Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So he wires it up. He gives Lena a little show, and Volchek goes into Cochran's office to try to, offer an invitation. Let's, hey, it's been a while since we played Scrabble. I'm like, by been a while, do you mean like yesterday? Because it was like freaking yesterday. And
What
Cochran.
was her stupid Scrabble word?
What?
Suck?
Yeah, suck. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Suck.
S-U-C-K. That's right, because that was the title of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cochran's like, oh, there's not going to be any more Scrabble. There's not going to be any more Scrabble. You insulted my wife. She was very interested in you, and you just did nothing. And if she's unhappy, I'm unhappy. And Volchek doesn't realize in that moment, he doesn't pick up on it, or maybe he refuses to pick up on it because he's so put off by the idea. And he just kind of is like, this plan's over, I'm done, I'm not doing this. And I'm like, okay, granted, she's not your type necessarily. But is this the worst job in the world to get one up on this guy who's been banging your wife and holds all the power over you? I feel like the level of resistance, it's not like he's cutting off his own arm here.
Not to mention he's done it before.
Yes.
for free, for nothing.
For nothing.
Right.
Job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For an ASAC position.
Yeah.
He used his sack for an ASAC. Use it again.
He didn't know, I think. I think he didn't know. I think it was once he was there, then he was in Cochran's pocket.
Got it. And her pocket. If we're
Yeah,
using
her.
analogies or euphemisms. That's what we're using. Yeah, so Ray has to go over there and basically tell him to nut up and just go ahead with it because he really only has one play here. Because if Cochran's wife doesn't like him anymore, then Cochran has no use for him and can just put him wherever he wants. He's about to become the most powerful law enforcement agent in the world, I'm sorry, is there one person you don't want to piss off? It is the wife of the most powerful law enforcement agent in the world, period. Totally. Volchek calls her, don't hang up, and is being coached by Ray, and Ray just straight up tells him, like, tell her you want to fuck her. And he says it, but he doesn't bring any heat to the sentence. He's just kind of like, listen, I really want to fuck you tonight. And she's like, oh, wow.
Really, sweetie?
Really, sweetie? I would like to fuck you too and pack you a lunch with baby carrots. And
Yes.
yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly like that. And they're able to get the whole swinger gang going. And by the end of the episode, Ray is watching this uncensored feed. And like, it's so evident the attitudes of these two men and their levels of excitement in what they're doing because Cochran is just eagerly just banging away and Volchek is just kind of like, not even tenderly, like gingerly pressing against Mrs. Cochran on the couch.
She seemed to be having a great time.
A great time.
Face? She was just like,
yay. Yay, attention, finally. So the other thing that we kind of had going on this week with Ray, Ashley reared her head once again. Crazy Ashley. Deodorant wearing Ashley. Cut her hair off and is now oh so edgy Ashley.
Yeah, her lipstick's too dark.
Oh, and it's so
just
glossy.
creepy.
It's shiny as hell. You could reflect sunlight off of that and blind a person. Fry an ant. It's true. It's that shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she asks Ray for his help. And she's got another married man who's pledging that he will leave his wife for her. In this case, Steve Knight, the author of such titles as Fight for Your Life, which Anna so rightly said before the show should be Knight of Your Life, because he's Steve Knight, and if he really was creative at all, he would have come up with that. It's the truth. Yeah, and Freeing Your Alt Self, Radical Honesty, all the hits, all the self-help hits. And the guy is so eerily one-note zen in every, like the way he delivers every line, except for when he's talking to Manuel. He is just at this level all the time. This is the sound of an incredibly controlled, robotic person. And it turns out when you're that zen and someone screws with it, you have a lot of rage you're suppressing, I guess. And he beat the snot out of Manuel just for delivering a sandwich during his peak state ritual. Yeah. Not good.
Had him taped up, and he did all that himself? Like,
yeah.
He taped him himself?
Yeah.
And why did Manuel let him sit there and get taped? He could have taken him.
He might have been knocked out.
True.
Or like just terrified by this guy who was just rapidly beating the snot out of him.
I don't know. His face was all swollen and stuff. He looked like he was.
He really got him
up.
good. Poor thing.
But so, like, another thing that's kind of running through this episode is Ray and his business manager, who's basically like, you know, you can't afford this house in Truesdale because you keep getting paid in cash. I can't launder it fast enough. I told you to diversify, she said a few episodes ago. And he sees this guy. He's like, okay, I'm gonna take care of this for this guy. I mean, after he kind of like is like, look, pal, you're pretty presumptuous. I don't work for you. And Steve's like, okay, well, I need help. Will you help me? Great. I'm going to go on stage now for 5 hours and talk to people and tell them how to be their best selves and not be nice. Terrifying. But Ray kind of turns him into a new client who will be paying him in checks every month, $100,000 a month.
Paying him directly. Directly.
The first time that he stepped out from under Big Ezra. And Ezra and Drexler are not going to be happy about this. Yeah, how do you guys feel about this? Do you think it's about time that Ray is stepping out on his own, or do you think this is going to backfire? I mean, the last time Ezra was pissed off at Ray about the Ruth Goldman Cancer Center, it kind of blew up in Ray's face a bit, and he had to go confront him. What's Ezra going to do when he discovers that Ray's stepping out from under him after 20 years?
I mean, he'll probably throw a fit, but I don't see Ray not working for Ezra anymore. Like, I don't see him cutting him completely off. Mm-hmm. My thing is, I'm more concerned that once this night guy figures out that him and his newfound girlfriend don't have the relationship that he thought, or maybe maybe they're cool with his girlfriend sleeping with everybody. But once he finds out that Ray is sleeping with her again, I think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see her being able to keep that secret. She's so crazy.
Are we sure that they slept together? I mean, he turned down that waitress.
Remember, he walked back. Like, she took her little trench coat off, and she walked in the room, and he followed her.
Some stuff, man.
And he was just watching some hot porn.
Right.
Oh, oh God. Hank Azaria's fake sex face is hysterical. I'm not going to emulate it here, but I would watch it again in slow-mo. It'll change your life. Yeah, Ashley, first of all, we all agree Ashley is just crazy. And the fact that we keep her on this show makes me wonder how far we're going to go with her crazy. You know, if she is kind of like this like weird thing that links across this entire series. We didn't really get deep into their relationship last year. I don't know that there is much of a relationship to have between Ray and Ashley. Maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe after Ray discovers Abby's indiscretions, he's going to, go to that wonderful double standard that men on TV often have, where you cheated on me once. Forget about all those other times I cheated on you. This is a problem. I'm going to go double down on the cheating, and maybe he's going to get together with Ashley a bit more, pissing off his new client. That's maybe something we can think about, look forward to.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't see her being able to keep that under wraps. She's going to tell somebody. The same way when she slept with him the first time, she went to Abby's yoga studio. Like, she met Abby at the yoga place. This lady is just a weirdo. I don't see her being able to keep it contained.
Not at all.
This is a problem.
She definitely has a type.
Yeah.
And
married rich guys.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That CD did not change her life.
She did not listen.
It did not. And yeah, she gives it to Ray, and Ray's listening to it in the car. I'm like, because he's listening as this guy, as Steve is doing his whole presentation on stage, and I'm like, don't let this infect you, Ray. Like, for a second, I was like concerned, like, is Ray about to really get advice from this dude?
He did.
Yeah. What? How did he apply it?
Because it was just when Steve Knight was saying, like, own it, own your whatever, own it. He said it like a few times, and then he ejected the CD and he called Abby, and he's like, Abby, I should have told you about about whatever thing it was.
I should have told you about a lot of things. I should have told you about Bridget and the pot.
Bridget and the pot is what it was.
And I should have told you about a lot of things. Come meet me for dinner. So that was him owning it, and he was going to tell his wife what he does for a living and try to be his authentic self.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was
got
totally
something from it.
listening to that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's big news. Because Ray is kind of an intractable person. He's not someone who makes big steps.
But he's totally into motivational speaking, it turns out.
He loves it. He's addicted. Interesting. So now I'm doubly curious about the evolving relationship between Ray and Steve Knight and seeing what kind of influence Steve can have on him. Very, very interesting. Okay, we got to just take a quick second and talk about iTunes. You know, folks, we all really appreciate all the listeners, all the viewers of this show on iTunes, on YouTube, on Stitcher. You're fantastic. You're the reason that we do the show. We love talking about Ray Donovan. We love talking about it with you, and we want that conversation to continue online and on iTunes. And if you want to support this show or any of the shows here on AfterBuzz TV, the best way to do it is to go to iTunes and rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch online on YouTube. I'll tell you why. I've told you before. I'll tell you again. First of all, it's the only way that we know that we're doing our jobs well, that you like the show, that we're giving you the Ray Donovan after show that you deserve and that you crave. It's the whole reason that we're here, people. Why wouldn't you do that? Second reason is sponsors. The whole way that we're able to keep the lights on and the doors open here, I'm hoping that we can keep the lights on and doors open here at AfterBuzz TV. And the only way to do it is to show these people that people not only listen to the show, not just raw numbers, but that they like the show and that they're compelled, they're motivated to talk about it with us and to let us know how good it is. So rate and review the show, and you get a great shout out here on the show. We got a new review from Dirks Bentley's #1 fan. 5-star review. Abby's got a new iPhone. We don't. And he says, did you notice Abby dialing her police guy friend on her iPhone 6? Celebs get first at all the new toys. Now, I didn't notice necessarily that she had an iPhone 6. Did you guys see that? Did you catch it?
No. I don't know what it looks like, so.
I didn't catch it,
it's
but now
bigger.
that I heard or hear that,
it did look a little weird, maybe.
well, but rumor has it that it has polished silver, and it did have polished silver
On the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Could be. I don't know. It's an interesting detail to pick up of all the things, and now I kind of want to go back and take a look. At the very least, the ...
was different.
Was like blinking.
Yeah.
It was a little different. So maybe there is something to it. It's interesting to think about. So thank you so much for writing into the show. We appreciate the 5-star review. Those of you at home, just rate and review the show. We appreciate your support. And you get read here on the program. Okay. So another thing that we got going on, we just mentioned Abby and her policeman friend, Mr. Jim O'Halloran. Let's talk about it. So Abby's really appreciating the attention of this this younger man, this sleek. You guys don't think he's very attractive.
He's
not bad looking. He's athletic.
He's not attractive.
He's not attractive.
He's
to
no
Anna.
Idris Elba, but you know,
Right.
he'll do.
But
for
no
Abby.
one else is Idris Elba. There's only one. There's only.
I know.
Fine, but
God knows, there's only one Idris Elba. Okay, we could talk about Idris Elba for the rest of this episode.
should we switch?
Yeah. This isn't the Luther after show.
Right.
Yeah, he's not Idris Elba, but he'll do in a pinch. He's got a taut frame. If you shave off the goatee, maybe a little. I mean, he still kind of looks like a polished schoolboy.
He looks like a toe.
He looks like a toe. Oh my God, I feel so bad.
The big one?
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Choose
Anyone.
one.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's texting with him, flirting a little back and forth, meeting him at the range. She's already propositioned him once, and he was a gentleman and demurred, but then said via text he won't be a gentleman next time. The electric thrill that sent through Abby. Once again on Terrible Mother Watch, Abby. Connor comes downstairs and he's like, "Hey, Mom, you know what tomorrow is?" And she's like, "Tomorrow's Saturday, hon."
Doesn't even look up from
Doesn't
her
even
sexting.
For a second. Connor is the most doomed child on the face of the entire planet. Just like the fact that this kid seems as well adjusted as he does right now, with all the craziness that's going on and the lack of attention. At least Bridget gets negative attention from her relationship with Marvin. Connor gets no attention unless he pushes someone down a flight of stairs. And their parents are so self-involved that they've missed his 14th birthday. Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't yet. It was just 12:03 or 12:04. What you know?
I guarantee there's no way we pick up the next day. Is there?
Well, based on the previews, Ray seemed to remember, and Abby, remember, was outside of the skanky
right.
hotel.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so Ray remembers.
Yeah, so it seems like she still forgot.
And
Yeah.
it's early enough in the morning. So he's like, "Where are you?" It's Connor's birthday, and she's like, "I'm at the bakery."
Yeah, so
the bakery.
Ray, as we said earlier, kind of reaches this inroads and invites Abby to a beautiful dinner. He invites her to a beautiful dinner at what was Sophia's, yeah, where there is a waitress who is just unashamed in her desire to bang Ray Donovan. She doesn't give a crap. He literally says to her face, "I'm meeting my wife." Wife doesn't show, and she might as well have been wearing nothing at all and just rubbing honey all over herself. Like, I mean...
You have some weird fantasies,
That's
Lieberman.
not a fantasy. I'm talking about somebody who's just trying to, like, just kind of attract somebody. Like, look how sweet this deal is.
Well, maybe she was in it for the tips, because he did leave her $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to do what you got to do out here.
I don't
saying
know.
you got to sleep with Ray. However,
There are a lot of Ashleys in the world.
That's true.
put a nice smile on your face, and you get an
yeah.
extra $100.
Yeah. But here's the deal. We see Abby getting ready to go out, and she's looking good. She's taking care of it. To the pantsuit. She's got the blazer. The pantsuit, the blazer. I'm into
That is
it.
not what she was wearing.
She was wearing what? Pants and a
Reclining
black
suit
blouse
on?
and a blazer. To me, that's a pantsuit. It's pants and a blazer. It's a pantsuit. I'm wrong. Fine. Yeah.
Bridget.
Yeah. She comes in. She's like, "Hey, Mom. Like, I'm sorry I yelled at you this morning. Where are you going?" She says, "Out."
And she doesn't even. She says she calls her Mama.
Yeah.
And she says she wants to
Suck
apologize
up.
for this morning.
Yeah.
And suck up. I think
Yeah.
she was genuinely apologizing.
Mama.
Maybe she wanted that diamond back. I don't know. But what Abby says is apology accepted. Doesn't give her a second look.
Nope.
Dashes out the door.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same as last week when she's like, "Mom, I think I'm sick," and she's like, "Okay, stay home. I don't care." And she's like, "What? You not even gonna like take my temperature?" I'm too busy thinking about this toe I want to have sex with.
Abby's 17.
Yeah.
She's sexting. She sent nudes.
She
had a
loves
pantsuit on. Like, she's just,
fresh attention and from a younger man. I love that she's older than him. I love that. And maybe that's not like explicitly said on the show, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. She's like at least 6 years older than him, maybe. I would say something like that. He's like mid-30s. She's like early 40s. Am I wrong?
Maybe she just isn't aging like some.
Yeah, she chain smokes all day and drinks wine all night. So
fair.
She could be 10 years younger.
She could be 32.
Fair.
We don't know.
Yeah. So she goes out to this like divey bar with him, and she's like throwing darts, and he tells her how beautiful she is, and she's just like, "Holy shit." I know that's not the exact accent, but it might as well have been that Valley girl.
That's okay. Last week, Kennelia was.
What did I tell my God?
Yeah, and so they make out, and they're just having a great time. So,
Well, in public, I would expect a little more from Abby to not do that.
Yeah.
You would expect more. Okay, my standards for Abby are so low. I don't even know.
I know. But she knows who her husband is.
It's true.
She knows that people are aware that she is Ray's wife.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
So you're at this bar. You don't know who's at this bar.
I mean,
Abby.
literally, what? It was like literally last week or the week before where she told that Truesdale woman, I'll tell my husband to fucking kill you. Yeah.
But I hope Marvin Gaye Washington busts them. That's my hope.
Yeah.
Because they would just full circle.
Full circle.
Oh.
And then Abby's under the thumb of Marvin Gaye Washington. I love that
He's
idea.
under 2 thumbs
Yeah.
now.
I get it. Because he's a toe. All right.
Oh yeah, I called him a toe. Not
Yeah,
a thumb.
not a
Sorry.
thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Bridget, this
I'm an idiot.
this big, kind of like finally all 4 of them are in a room together, Bridget, Connor, Ray, and Abby. It doesn't happen very often. Abby is confronting Bridget about the diamond. I mean, it didn't happen last week. Maybe it happened the week before. But this family is often in their own places. So, Bridget is trying to defend her relationship with Marvin. She's like, look, this is happening. There's nothing you two can do about it. Dad, don't you try to lecture me. Cops planted pot on me, and I know it was because of you. Oh, you didn't tell Mom? Surprise, surprise. I'm going to the beach. Are you coming, Connor? Yeah, don't leave me here. Yeah, so Bridget's still going through a rebellious phase. I know she tries to apologize to her mom later on, but I'm worried about both these kids. Their stories are not going to end well.
Well, yeah, because you have Bridget and Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
Teenagers, they don't do what you tell them to do. So it's not surprising that she's in the situation. However, Marvin Gaye Washington is a hood rat, and it's not going to end well hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Connor is still Skyping with what's his name while he has orgies in the background. What was the guy's name from the movie?
Oh, Tommy Wheeler.
Tommy Wheeler. He is socking people over the head with football tees. Both of them are doomed. I predict a juvenile facility for...
Yeah.
Especially Connor.
Yeah,
It's
for
just,
Connor.
It's just not going to go well.
I mean, the scene last week between Marvin and forgive me, I can't remember the guy who takes care of him. With him and Cookie, and with him and Recon, he no longer has any regard for Recon whatsoever as a father figure, taking care of him whatsoever. Recon's like, why aren't you studying with your tutor? I'm trying to make sure that you have a better life. And Marvin would rather be smoking weed and hanging with Cookie. Cookie just got back from prison. Marvin, you're a teenager. He wants to be in business with you. We don't get along. He's trying to steal you from me. He's got a gun. He's just got a gun out in the open at this very nice normal party. He's breaking his parole at this very nice normal party.
You know what that is?
Your Cookie impression is just flawless. There's nothing wrong.
I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
So yeah, we're worrying about these kids, and we're gonna see how things develop for them further on down the line. Meanwhile, Mick kind of had a much quieter week than weeks past, just kind of developing this relationship between him and poor Shorty, who cannot get erections anymore. He is too old and too used up. And I'm just like, can we don't take that boner pill, Bunchy. Give it to Shorty. He's the one who needs it. Okay.
He's such a nice dude. What if he was a criminal in the past? He's just like a kind-hearted man.
A kind-hearted man who wants one last score on Free Joint Friday. He's still working the angles.
Yeah, he wants to break in through the roof. Shorty can't get on nobody's roof. He has an oxygen tank. Does he know he can't do this with the oxygen tank?
He's assuming that Mick's gonna go through the roof and then let him in through the front door. I assume.
No, he said he was going in through the roof.
He was going in through
How
the
is
roof.
he getting up there, Shorty?
I'm terrified that Shorty's just going to go ahead and do it because he's apparently going to die any day now. So what's holding him back? Nothing. That's ultimately that's going to be a man without fear.
He wants one last heist.
Yeah, he's dying for it. And, he and Mick, they get high and they joke about how the world has changed. And Mick's like, you should take out a life insurance policy in my name so I can get some money when you go. He's like, no one's gonna give me shit, But if we got married, at least you could get my pension. And they laugh about that for a while. They think that's the funniest thing in the world. Old white guys. In the midst of all this, Mick gets a call from Paramount Pictures. And they go over the wackadoo movie idea that he and Sean Walker had come up with last season that made no sense. And she's like, this is terrible. Why was he interested in this project? And Mick says, well, he was interested in me. I love this scene between him and the exec. And she was almost like too excited when he kind of was like, there's two things in the world that I do and that I know about. You know, I know about robbing banks and fucking black chicks. And she's like, go on.
Well, how did Mickey get a meeting with her when nobody in town can get a meeting at Paramount? Like it was.
Yeah.
I know he had a relationship with Sean.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like people really want these meetings. And Mickey's in there out of all people. Mickey.
Well, I imagine if this woman inherited all of these Sean Walker movies as part of her slate when he died. You know, maybe she's new to her position, and she's like, what is this thing? Okay, who's the writer? Is this guy Mickey Donovan? Let's get him in here so I can discuss this stupid movie and get it off my slate. Yeah. But it turns into a positive meeting because she's very into his true life story, and Mick is very interested in the idea of sticking it to Ray and giving him something to do, because $300 every 2 weeks is not a stipend that does not make.
And he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he has 3 scenes per page.
That all should take a minute. Yeah. Terrible. So, and Shorty calls it a pipe dream, and Mick gets short with him. He's like, it's not a pipe dream. This is as real as your cancer. And honestly, I don't know, just because like Shorty has such kind of like a zen like joy to him, I thought he was gonna let it roll off his back, but this really stung him. And he walked down and shut the door, and Mick's like, oh man. And I'm worried that Mick is gonna pull this heist to make things right with Shorty, because Shorty's been so good to him. What do you guys think?
I think probably will, especially if the movie thing doesn't go as planned. But I think as long as he feels like there's going to be a future with Paramount in the movies, I just see him putting the Shorty in the bank thing on the back burner. Unless, you know, Shorty, you know, because he seems like he really is fond of Shorty. Unless Shorty tells him the only way we can be friends anymore is if you do this one last thing for me. Then I can see it happening.
Well, Shorty's the last person in the world who's being kind to him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. As zen as Shorty is, as zen as anybody, look, if somebody, you know, doesn't have an arm or something, and they can be totally zen about everything, but they have this like one obvious thing. This is like the one thing that you don't bring up or make fun of.
Right.
They're obviously going to be sensitive about it. And
they were talking about him dying all day.
But that was in terms of like how Mick could benefit from it.
Right.
And, you know, so it was more about Mickey and whatever. It wasn't like, and what he said was, it's as real as your cancer.
Right. We're not joking about it. I'm saying, you know, hey man, you have cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as an insult.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like it was just completely insensitive and to somebody who's been so kind to him.
Yeah. Shorty does not deserve this kind of treatment. Not one bit.
No.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Mick's storyline is going to go. Now that he's got this movie in development, he's going to be writing his story his way, and I wonder if he puts the fact that a big-time lawyer and his son framed him for murder 20 years ago. Interesting.
Well, probably. We'll see.
Yeah.
He is out for Ray.
He is out for Ray.
He'll never turn his son in. He won't ever do that. He'll never give up his son.
Right. But maybe writing a movie where some things get set straight that maybe implicates a certain couple of somebodies that he might do. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But he's not a fucking rat. He's not a fucking rat, but, you know, he'll do things his way. I think so. All right. So we pick up Terry's story. Now, earlier this season, he was stalking Frances. She still can't get over the fact that, you know, Ray totally murdered this priest last season. Terry's all hung up on her. He can't let it go.
I am so over her nipples. I feel like we have just seen her nipples so much.
See, I love that we keep seeing her nipples, and not just because I'm a nipple fan, but just like because like on television, it's rare that you see like she's a very lovely woman, but she is like a more normal looking woman than most TV nudity people.
You look like an ugly nipple.
Well, I got called that on Twitter yesterday, or no, on Friday actually. I got called an ugly fucking nipple. It was,
I brought it up. It's
yeah,
the only reason.
it's a very fun thing for me to be called that. I'm not over her nipples. I think it's cool that we're seeing them, and everyone else should too. My opinion's right. No, everyone's opinion's right. So in any case, he's trying to get her to see him again. She's not giving him the time of day until she shows up at the fight club, and he's like, "I want to tell you everything." She's like, "I don't want to hear a word that you have to say." She comes in the room, and they just right to it, just like old times, until they're spooning, and she's like, "You know, this is a one-time thing." And he's like, "No, I love you. Don't do that. Don't do this to me. Don't give me what I want and then take it away. This isn't fair." And, you know, she's like, "Well, you did want to tell me everything. Your brother murdered that priest, right?" And so he tells her, you know, the reason why, that this guy raped both of his brothers. It's a very painful thing for him and for his entire family. And essentially doing everything that Ray told him not to do, which is to make the circle wider. And yeah.
I feel like that was just like such a cheesy moment between, like, she's like, "I love you, but I can't condone murder."
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was very Lifetime-esque.
Yeah. And he's like, "I want to marry you. I want." And she's like, "What does that look like? What? I leave my husband. I be with you and your family. Your brother scares the shit out of me, and rightly so. She's no idiot, that Frances. And it kind of sets Terry's wheels a turning. And early in the episode, we see him watching a documentary about
another documentary.
He loves his Irish documentaries about the great potato famine. And thank you. My brog is about as good as your cookie impression. Yeah, it sets the wheels a turning. He realizes, okay, let's just move to Ireland. Then there's no problems because Ray won't be there. Perfect. Then she'll marry me. So he goes to the Irish embassy, and he takes this kind of emigration interview. And it turns out, because he's a business owner, if he sells his business and comes to the country with a lot of money, they would let him emigrate immediately. So he's like, perfect, I'll sell the gym, she'll leave her husband, everything will work out. And she's like, well, okay, it's not that simple. I got kids. He's like, what? He's 18, he'll come visit every summer. I'll rent a castle. Hilarious.
This is just unfortunate that Terry has gotten this far into it, that he's willing to just completely leave everybody, try to get her to ditch her whole life to go to Ireland.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate. She really put it on him. She really put it on him.
She
man,
did,
because he's
in deep. He's down that rabbit hole.
Deep. He's in too deep, and this isn't going to end well.
No,
she never said okay.
What are the summer rates for castles in Ireland, I wonder?
They're pretty reasonable,
like
surprisingly.
It was a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Is it that, just like that?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, and these castles all have like running power and water and
Wi-Fi.
everything. Yeah,
Free
Wi-Fi. Yeah. Well, he doesn't need Wi-Fi. What does Terry need with Wi-Fi? But I imagine
The
an 18,
son.
right?
The son will want Wi-Fi.
He'll definitely want some Wi-Fi. Yeah. Where's he gonna plug in his Wii U in a castle? Nowhere. That's where. So.
I don't even know what a Wii U is.
It's the latest Nintendo console. No one's buying it. It's okay.
Okay.
There's a reason why you don't know what it is.
Because I'm old.
No, it's because no one's buying it. No one cares. Yeah. Yeah, but she didn't say no, but she is entertaining it. Like when he gets down on one knee, the look on her face isn't one of horror, but like kind of like, don't put this decision on me. You know, I would leave with you. I am in love with you, but this is huge. You don't come back from this.
Yeah, and yeah, you don't. It's Ireland too.
Yeah.
It's not like let's go to Chicago and
Right.
it'll be nice. We'll get
No,
an apartment.
Ireland. So we also pick up with our old pal Bunchy. Oh, poor Bunchy. And he met that woman Patty a few episodes ago. Made her son a bike out of all these used parts, one that they could afford. And she took him to Mexican food. And I'm just in a perennial state of concern over Bunchy because he's a sexual anorexic. He's a recovering alcoholic. He's so new to not being in a perpetual nervous breakdown that I'm just worried about everything. And this woman invites him over for dinner to her house, and he's very, very nervous because what if she wants to get intimate? We all remember what happened when that prostitute got intimate with him last season. He tried to burn down his house.
Yeah.
So Potato Pie gives him a little something to give him some extra courage in the bedroom. A little blue pill.
Which is why you should always explain to your friends what the drugs are gonna do.
Yes.
You should never just hand somebody drugs and say, trust me.
Well, I mean, we all know what the little diamond blue pill is, right? I mean, is Viagra not an obvious thing?
Not to sexual anorexic?
That's true. He hasn't been around the block. I mean, he has seen commercials. It's on the commercials. But, well, I guess they don't really advertise that much anymore. They did more in the 90s. In any case, I digress. So he goes over to her place, and of course, her version of foreplay is she shampoos him in the sink in her kitchen. Which, I mean, granted, I imagine felt great. She's a professional. But still a little weird.
Totally weird.
It went from roast chicken to that. Like, how did you even get there? Like, hey, you want me to wash your hair? Like, where, you know, how did it? I give amazing shampoos, or you should feel my hands on your head. And then she gave him a nice scrub down.
Yeah. Did you like dinner? Do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to give you a haircut and shampoo your head in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come into the salon for that. It is very strange to do that in the kitchen.
Right.
And unsanitary.
True. So as she's shampooing him, she goes in for the kiss, and they kiss, and they're both into it. It's good. Hey, man, it's real good. And he's like, okay, I know what's happening here. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And he pops the pill. No sooner than he pops the pill, little Cliff comes home, and we just are in a state of panic over what's going on because we know where the show is leading, and that is a child-based boner mix-up situation. And like you guys will vouch, I literally left my seat. I was so uncomfortable and almost
a couple of times
pretty much tried to hide under the chairs in our screening room because I did not want to see this happen. And thankfully the show, we came close a couple of times. Bunchy got out of that room, but he didn't leave the house, and now they're all watching cartoons together, and the kid's got his head on his lap, and if we do pick up, like, you know, later in the night or the next morning, the moment could still happen. I don't know. I'm very, very, very scared for poor Bunch.
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable. And it was, we kept saying, just leave.
Yeah, just leave.
Just leave the house. Oh, I gotta go. Something came up. Oh, my cell phone. Left the lights on at the gym.
Right.
Go home.
This evening isn't what we planned it to be anyway. It's not, you know, because I don't want to be here. It's just like I shouldn't be here right now under this context. Maybe, I mean, you could dig yourself out of whatever you had to say.
Here's the other thing is like, how about if you're not ready to be intimate with this woman, building a relationship with her until perhaps you are ready to be intimate with her.
And like letting her know just a little bit of like, hey, I've never been with a woman before. I know that's embarrassing for a man of my age to say, but I like you enough to tell you the truth. He doesn't have that kind of centeredness to be that honest with her.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that this resolves itself in a good way and not in a bad way, because goodness knows we were terrified for him.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time for predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so for those of you who consider any of the next time on scenes spoilers, skip about 30 seconds ahead. because we're just going to talk about them real quick, and then we're just going to say our predictions. So, you know, you won't know if they're influenced by those scenes in any way. So skip now. So what we saw is we kind of had this big birthday party for Connor, and Abby slept over with her cop pal, and is on her way to the bakery, and everyone in the family is invited, including Mick, and we get this massive, massive blow up over Terry selling the gym, which is the one thing he promised his business manager would not happen. It would really, really screw Ray over. So yeah, what do we think is going on next week? What's happening? How are people going to react?
Well, you know, we saw that Ray got a little heated about it. You know, for one reason, like you said, that's his business partner and is going to screw Ray. But even if it wasn't Ray's cover-up, as partners, you can't decide to sell the business without including the other person.
True.
So, you know, that's going to be a problem. Mickey's there. We saw...
Daryl.
We saw Daryl bust the windows out of the old Cadillac, so that's gonna get good as well.
Oh yeah, Mick brings Daryl's mother, Claudette. Yeah, Claudette to the birthday party. How is her husband gonna feel about that?
Well, that guy, he didn't even seem like he cared when we met him that time.
That's true.
You know,
he doesn't consider Mick to be a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be major fallout with Ezra from Ray sort of stepping out. I think that's going to be a major issue with Ezra.
I agree.
I also think, as far as Bunchy, I hope this doesn't happen, but I think the little boy, I can see the little boy telling his mom, "Hey, Mom, when I laid my head on Bunchy's lap, there was something bumping me in the head." You know, and then that's going to turn into something.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Why hasn't she called me in forever?" And he'll go to confront her, and she'll be like, "Listen, dude, you're a pervert. You were nice to my kid, and I thought that was for good reason, but it's because you're sick." And that would send him into a whole new spiral of depression, and I really don't want that for him.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I also think we're definitely not done with Kate McPherson. We've got this baby that Ezra and his wife are raising that is Sean Walker's baby. We don't know, like, if there was any kind of like documentation or anything, like, why is this baby with them? Was he formally adopted? I don't know. But they wouldn't have brought it up for no reason in front of Kate. We still got that mystery note that Shorty slipped into her bag that will clearly conflict with everything that Cochran and Nick said to her.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube.
But you know, folks, we really appreciate you listening and watching the show, downloading and streaming. You're all the best. We're gonna be here next week with an all new episode. Kennelia, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Kennelia. Also, I'll be at Burbank Comedy Club and Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank for the Burbank Comedy Festival. Tuesday and Friday, come out.
Fantastic. And Anna?
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. I also did a couple of videos for the Discovery YouTube channel D News, Revision 3, and Test Tube this week. You can check those out on their various YouTube channels. And if you're watching this live, you can stay tuned and watch me do The Strain in about 2 hours. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.